Hello students, it's Nazia Begum here welcoming you all in today's lecture. So in today's lecture we are going to start our chapter 4 in our book, that is magnetic effect of current, and it is the third unit. Okay, here you can see it is written chapter 3, it is actually the third unit and chapter 4, which is magnetic effect of current. So when we talk about the magnetic effect of current, the first thing which come in our mind is Oersted discovery. Okay. In class 10th, we have discussed about Oersted's experiment. In that experiment, what happened? If you take one conducting wire and place a compass near that, so compass will not show any deflection, but when the current starts flowing in the wire, the compass shows the deflection. So by this observation, what we can conclude? That when current was not flowing in the wire, there was no magnetic field. As the current starts flowing, the magnetic field is produced, and that's why we can see the deflection in the compass. And one more thing we have discussed, that if we change the direction of flow of current, the direction of deflection in the compass also changes. Okay, and the deflection will be there as long as the current is flowing. As the current stops flowing, the deflection also stops. Okay, the needle comes in the original position. So from that observation, two more things we can understand, that by changing the direction of current, the direction of magnetic field also can be changed, and the magnetic field will be observed only when the current is flowing. As soon as the current stops flowing, the magnetic field also vanishes. Now what actually magnetic field is? So first of all, magnetic field is denoted by vector B. Okay, and a very interesting thing is there, that just as the stationary charges produce an electric field, the moving charge produce magnetic field. Okay, so when the charges are rest, we get a field which is electric field, and when the charges are moving, that time we get a field which is the magnetic field. Okay, so because it depends on the flow of charges, so it is a vector quantity, because as we change the direction of flow of charge, the direction of magnetic field also changes. Now magnetic field has some characteristics which is similar to the electric field, which we will discuss in next topics. And SI unit of magnetic field is Newton per ampere per meter, or we can simply say or denote it by Tesla, capital T. Now suppose if we put an electric charge in the magnetic field, the magnetic field will apply some force on that, as well as if magnetic field is there, that means some electric field must appear there, that must exist there. So whenever we put a charge particle anywhere and electric field and magnetic field apply force on that, so that force is called as Lorentz force. Why we call is Lorentz force? Because H.A. Lorentz gave the formula to find that force. Lorentz force can be written like this: F equals to Fe plus Fm, where Fe is the force on the charge particle because of electric field, and Fm is the force on charge particle because of magnetic field. So Lorentz force F is equals to Fe plus Fm. Now because of any electric field, what is the force? Q into E, plus because of any magnetic field, what is the force on a charge particle? It is Q into V cross B, where V is the velocity of the charge particle. Okay, so from here we can easily see that if the charge particle is moving, if the charge particle is in motion, that time only the force will work there. If the charge particle is at rest, so magnetic field will not apply any force on the charge particle. If here we put V equals to 0, the whole term will become 0. So no force will be there. So that means the essential condition for magnetic field to apply force on a charged particle is that the charged particle must move. And this formula, this can be written like this. Okay, q we can take as common, it is in both the terms. So here q we can take as common, so here we get E plus V cross B. One more thing you can see, that V cross B, it is a vector product. Okay, see, F here is Lorentz force. Fe can be considered as Lorentz electric force. Fm can be considered as Lorentz magnetic force. So when we simply discuss about Lorentz magnetic force, Fm equals to Q V cross B. So here, because vector product is there, so it can be written as QVB sin theta. And here this vector product is between velocity and magnetic field. Okay, direction of velocity and direction of magnetic field, and it is a vector product, so it can be written as QVB sin theta. And one more thing can be easily seen from here, that V and B, between them, what is the angle there, on that its intensity or its strength depends. For example, suppose if theta equals to 0, that means the angle between the direction of velocity of charged particle and direction of magnetic field is 0. That means they both are in same direction. Okay, suppose magnetic field is in this direction and charge is also moving in the same direction, right hand side direction. So that time the angle between them is 0. So that time what happens, sin 0 is 0. So value of Fm becomes 0. That means no force will work there. But if the value of theta is 90 degree, that means if the direction of magnetic field is right hand side, that means in x axis, and the direction of motion of particle is in y axis. Okay, so that time the angle between them will be 90 degree. So here in this case what happened, the particle is moving in a direction perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. In this direction, because sin 90 equals to 1, so this Lorentz force Fm will be equals to QVB, and that is the maximum value of this force. So Lorentz force will be 0, okay, when the particle is moving in the direction of magnetic field, or if the particle is not moving. In both the cases the Lorentz force will be 0. Okay, the velocity and the magnetic field are parallel or anti-parallel. If they are parallel or anti-parallel, that means 0 or 180 degree, that time also it will be 0, because sin 180 also equals to 0. And it will be a maximum value when the theta is 90 degree, or the particle and the magnetic field, they both are perpendicular to each other. Okay, and you can see its unit can be given by Newton per ampere per meter, and which is denoted by Tesla, capital T. Tesla is a very large unit, so commonly we use a non-SI unit to show the strength of a magnetic field, and that unit is called Gauss, and 1 Gauss equals to 10 to the power minus 4 Tesla. That means Tesla equals to 10 to the power 4 Gauss. Okay, now if in this equation we put Q equals to 1 coulomb, V equals to 1 meter per second, and theta equals to 90 degree, so Fm will be equals to B. Okay, here this force will be equals to the magnetic field. So by putting Q, V and sin theta value as unit, we can define magnetic field strength. Here you can see the definition of magnetic field strength. When we put Q equals to 1 coulomb, V equals to 1 meter per second, theta equals to 90 degree, then B equals to F. So B becomes F when in one condition. Which condition? The magnetic field is numerically equal to the force experienced by a particle of 1 coulomb moving with a velocity of 1 meter per second at right angles to the magnetic field. Okay, so whatever value we have put, that is the conditions. Okay, when these conditions are fulfilled, magnetic field will numerically be equal to the force experienced by that particle. Okay, similarly we can give the definition of Tesla also. If q equals to 1 coulomb, v equals to 1 meter per second, theta equals to 90 degree, then force equals to 1 Newton, that time the magnetic field is said to be 1 Tesla. So we can define it as, the magnetic field is said to be 1 Tesla when a particle of 1 coulomb moving with a velocity of 1 meter per second at right angles to the magnetic field experience a force of 1 Newton. Okay, that time the magnetic field will be 1 Tesla. Like electric field lines, magnetic fields are also having some lines which shows their strength and direction, and we have already discussed the properties of magnetic field lines in class 10th. So you all once revise that from your 10th class book, and if you have any doubt then you can ask me. Okay, but because we have already discussed all that properties in class 10th, and also we have discussed the electric field lines, so it will be better for you to first revise it from class 10th book, and if there is any doubt then you can ask me. And one more thing is there, one major difference is there between electric field line and magnetic field line is that electric field lines do not make loop, but magnetic field lines make loop. Okay, electric field line only appear outside the electric dipole, but in case of magnetic field lines they appear outside the magnetic dipole as well as inside. Okay, they travel inside also, and hence they make a loop. Except this, other all points are same. This is it for first part of today's lecture. In second part we will discuss about Biot-Savart law and its application.